What's up, ladies? All right, let's talk about the reverse diet. Why is the scale going up? This is such an important topic to go through, but also we get this question all the time. So give me a moment to share this to the group, and then we shall talk through it. Okay, amazing. Go ahead and comment below if you are asking this question. Like, why is the scale going up? Am I even doing this right? What is happening? Okay, let's go pin to featured so you all can see it. Okay, amazing. Good. Okay, ladies, great. Now, before I get started, I want to let you know we have a few one-on-one coaching slots available for September start date. If you want to learn more about that, go ahead and comment an emoji below, any emoji, your favorite emoji, whatever it is, and I'll reach out to you and we'll chat through your goals, how we can support you, all that. Okay, so let's talk through it. So here's the problems that I hear you ladies saying. Why is the scale going up? Is this normal? Is this fat? When do I know to increase? What am I even looking for? Like, how do I even do this process correctly? So the first thing I want to say is, and I have all my notes, that's why I keep looking down. It's really hard to do this on your own because when it's our own bodies, there's so much emotion involved that we typically make emotional decisions, such as the scale's going up. I need to drop my macros. Has anyone done that? I've done that way back in the day, naturally, right? There's just so much emotion involved because you're very close to the picture. It's hard to think logically or analytically because it's your own body, right? Some women really rush this process by increasing their macros too frequently. And I'm going to go through the problems, but I'll go through all the solutions here in just a second, of course. Okay. Other women add too much to each reverse, like too many calories or too much macros to each reverse, which that could cause the scale to go up and it could be fat. Other women have no idea what they're looking for when it comes to doing a reverse, doing it properly. How do I even know what the heck I'm doing? Other women, the scale goes up and immediately think they did something wrong or drop the macros, like I shared. And some women are not very compliant when they're doing the reverse diet, but they're still increasing macros, and that's a major problem. I'll definitely talk through compliance here in a little bit as well. Okay, so here is the real solution. Here's all the things that we need to think about, that we are looking for to make sure that you're doing this correctly. This is an extremely intricate process. I personally wouldn't really recommend people to do it on their own because it's so intricate, right? It really needs to be done correctly, or it's very easy to gain fat and weight. Okay, so the very first thing to focus on, ladies, is your compliance. I will say a lot of women think they're compliant. Like they really think they're compliant. And then when we dig deep and we say, show me your food logs, show me the last 7 days, they're not compliant. If you're not fully tracking your macros, getting them between like 0 to 5 grams left over or under. So you've eaten over or under 0 to 5 grams. You're not compliant. You're not considered compliant, right? There's too much room for error. Try not to have all your macros be over because that can be a lot of calories, right? And so, for example, like if carbs are over, have fat be under, right? And so on. But you want all of them to be between 0 and 5. When you're not compliant, you don't really know how your body's responding to those macros, right? Because there's so much discrepancy of what you're eating, that there's just so many ups and downs. Our bodies are getting bloated. There's just too much going on that you don't really have a true picture of what's actually happening. So there's no way to know if your body's truly ready to increase your macros. Now, I say this every time. I have all these notes and then I'm like, no, I'm going on my own thing. So I'm just going to go for it or go like from my mind to my heart. So here's what you're looking for when you know that you're ready. And just for frame of reference at Queens of Iron, we, depending on compliance, we increase macros every 3 to 5 weeks in a reverse. I would never recommend going faster than 3 weeks because your body needs time to adapt, adjust, respond, right? That first week, the scale is probably going to go up, right? Because you're increasing carb typically. Usually you wouldn't increase protein or fat, at least I mean, I don't think I'd really, depending on the woman, but I don't think I'd really increase protein or fat during the entire reverse. But why is that? Because your protein and your fat should already be at optimal levels, right? Carb is always the one we want to increase. We want as much carb as possible so you can have as much energy as possible, so you can build as much muscle as possible, so you can have optimal recovery, right? Things like that. But with carbohydrate, what happens when you increase carb is your cells retain water. When your cells retain water, bam, the scale goes up. And you're like, I feel fluffy and I'm squishy and the scale's up and I just gained fat and I did something wrong. You didn't, most likely, you didn't do something wrong. You just need to give it like a week or so, allow your body to regulate back down, and the scale normally drops. It usually takes about, some women it takes 3 days, other women it takes a week and a half. It really depends on the person. It depends on compliance, food quality, stress levels, sleep, and so on, right? Age, but not age in terms of like hormones. It's more age in terms of like lifestyle. It's always lifestyle, ladies. Okay. So when you do an increase, what we recommend is about, depending where you're starting from, about 25 to 30 grams of carbohydrate at a time. That's it. Like 150 calories for some of you. That's it for a reverse diet. At Queens of Iron, we do go slow because, like the Army says, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, right? When you increase too quickly, too rapidly, you can gain fat because your body might not be ready to handle all those calories, right? In a reverse diet, what we're doing is we're teaching your body how to handle more food and use that food for energy so you're not gaining fat. In fact, you're increasing your energy. You can go lift harder in the gym or at home, build more muscle, and then you're actually burning more calories at rest, right? Because you have more muscle mass. The other thing the reverse diet does, which is amazing, is yes, it brings a ton of help to your metabolism. Like I just said, you can eat more food, you don't gain fat, you use it for energy. But the other thing the reverse diet does, ladies, is it helps your body create a new physical set point. A set point is like where your body wants to live. So some of you, you lose weight, you gain weight. You lose it, you gain it. You lose it, you gain it. And it sucks so bad. And it's usually because, well, two things, but it's usually because your set point is higher. So your body naturally wants to keep going back, right? So it keeps gaining the weight back. The other thing is you haven't developed the habits to stay lower. Both of those things are mandatory. So physical new set point to physically maintain results, and then to mentally maintain your results is developing those habits, okay? I'm like, there's so many things I want to say. It's like I can't get the words out fast enough. So the reverse diet helps your body create a new set point, like where your body naturally wants to live. But it's not just the reverse. So there's 3 phases when you want to lose weight, right? You cut and you lose the fat, which is a great thing. Then once you're at the place that you love, for most women, sometimes you need to do a reverse maintenance, go back into a cut, depending on how much weight you have to lose, right? If you have like 40 pounds, I wouldn't do the cut at one time. I would drop 20 pounds, reverse, maintenance, drop 20 pounds, reverse, maintenance, then learn to maintain forever, okay? If anyone's confused by these terms, send me a message or let me know. There's no stupid question. Some of these terms are really advanced for people who are new. Totally fine. Like, I'm here to answer all your questions, okay? I was a newbie at 1.2. I get it, okay? I'm like, what's a macro? And if you have that question, let me know. Okay, so you're going to get that fat off. You're going to reverse diet, which I'll talk about more in just a second. But then you must stay in maintenance. I recommend for like 4 months to learn the habits, because when you look and feel amazing and you can eat more food, it's a very slippery slope. You have to continue to track your macros, develop habits in maintenance to become this woman, right? To become this woman. So you're teaching your body, your mind, and your lifestyle to stay here. Then you can wean off of macros, meaning you don't track anymore, right? Tracking macros is a beautiful fallback. So let's say you don't track macros for 6 months. Amazing. You're intuitively eating. But let's say you gain like 2 pounds and you're like, shoot, kind of want those back off. Amazing. Track macros for like 3 weeks, right? You'll be right back down and you'll be like, oh, okay, I see that. I see the habit error. Kind of reset yourself, and then you don't have to track again. So it's a great fallback that you can use, and you don't have to use it that much because it's like minor tweaks at that point. When you go through all of these processes and play the long game instead of the quick fix game, you get freedom forever. You get freedom forever, but it really requires these habits. one more piece on the habits, and then I'll get back to the reverse diet. Give yourself the grace as you learn new habits, because you may have been doing something for 30 years, and to expect those habits to change in 3 months isn't realistic. But it takes 21 days to create a new habit. You're right. But your mind has a lot of skin in the game, right? I'm going to very vaguely give an example because I don't want to call anybody out, but this is very real and there's no shame. This is so real. This is so real. We have someone, and we dearly love our people, of course, but we also want to call you out because we want to help you grow, right? So we have someone where she doesn't want to put in the time. I'm way too busy. And it's like, no, you're not too busy. And if you're too busy for your fitness, then something else needs to be sacrificed. It's not your fitness, right? But what's actually happening, it's not her time. What's actually happening, the root cause of the issue is actually, that is a really scary thing for me to go do because I've never achieved it before. And I'm really afraid to change my lifestyle, and I'm really afraid to fail. So I'm going to avoid it and blame it on something else so I feel better, so I don't have to go through the failure and the hardship. Right? Mindset is so important. And that's what we do at Queens of Iron. We dig. So it's like, no. You think that's the problem, but is that really the problem? Let's find out, right? It never is. I don't think one time it was really ever the problem. There's always something inside, ladies. That's where the habit changes, is when we change the root cause of the issue. I think I told you, this is more of an extreme example. I've shared this before. I had a past client. She's not with us anymore. And in fact, she could never get to her goals. She had a great plan. She lost all the weight. She kept gaining it back. And we finally got to the root. And the root was, if I lose all the weight and get fit, my family will disown me because they're all overweight. And they keep telling me when I lose weight, I'm changing and they don't want to spend time with me anymore. So subconsciously, she wouldn't lose the weight because she knew she'd lose her family. How sad is that? And it's so real. It's so real. There's always a root, ladies. You're not self-sabotaging because you can't control the cookies. It's not the cookies, ladies. It's something in here. It's something in here. I've been there. Don't worry. Like I get it very personally. I still go through it with relationships. Like we all go through this, right? Okay. So let's go back to the reverse diet. Okay. So let me check my notes. Okay. So let's talk about now what you should be looking for and when you know you're ready for another increase. Okay. So like I was saying before, compliance is so important to really determine, okay, how is my body responding to these higher macros? So after the first week or so, your body should regulate back down. And then the next week, depending where you're at in the reverse, you'll have a drop. Even if the scale doesn't drop, your measurements will probably drop. At Queens of Iron, we take the waist, so the smallest part, the waist, the low belly, the glutes, and then 2 on the thigh. Those are great places as ladies for us to lose, right? We can visually see the arms and the shoulders and the back. So we do those measurements. So we typically see a drop. I personally like to see 2 weeks of drops and then I increase. Because there can always be a fluke, right? What if you didn't eat before bed and normally you do, and suddenly you're a pound lighter? It's like, okay, let's get consistent data. Okay, I see your body consistently dropping. Bam, let's do an increase, right? Scale goes up again. No, love, don't worry. Remember, your cells are retaining water because you increase your curve. Let's give it another week. Okay, bam. Now we're back steady. Okay, let's keep going. Next week, maybe we dropped a little bit. Next week, okay, now we dropped even more. Amazing. Time for another increase. Do you see the trend there? Let me know if you have questions, okay, in the comments. Just type away any question you have. Now, how do you know when you get, now let me back up. Let's say it stays steady. No drops are happening, and you're trying to reverse up. No drops are happening. Do not increase your macros. Do not increase your macros. Just wait. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Just wait. Allow the drops to happen, then increase, because that's saying, okay, now my body is using those macros and using that food as energy. I'm shredding up. I'm getting tighter, even though I'm eating more. So my body is now ready to have even more. Okay? And that makes sense. Now, how do we know when to stop? How do we know when we've hit maintenance? No drops happen yet. Okay? Everything will stay steady. Your weight usually fluctuates depending on the woman, like 0.5 to 1.5 pounds, like per week, right? You could be like, who knows what your weight is? 150, 149, 151, 150.5, 149.5. That is a totally normal fluctuation. Totally normal fluctuation. But it should stay about the same, like within a bracket. It shouldn't be slowly going up. It shouldn't be slowly going down. If it's slowly going down and you're reversing to maintenance, amazing. You can do another increase at that point, right? Okay. So when you know to stop is when everything is nice and steady, measurements included for the time being, weight is fluctuating, but you're steady week after week after week. At that point, you may say, okay, I'm either at maintenance or I'm super close to maintenance. And so don't make any changes. Allow more weeks of data, right? Allow another week, check your data the next week. Allow another week, check your data the next week, and so on, okay? In true maintenance, what's going to happen is every 3 to 5 weeks, your measurements drop. It might be a 0.5 centimeter drop in one measurement, and that's okay. But there's going to be drops every 3 to 5 weeks because in maintenance calories, you're becoming a fitter, more tight, fit, toned version of yourself, but your weight is staying the same. What? Right? Because you're increasing muscle and you're losing fat. You're losing fat slowly, and increasing muscle is slow too. It takes time, right? If you're gaining weight and you say, oh, it's just muscle. No, it's not. You're in a surplus. You're in a surplus. And that's okay if that's your goal. But in true maintenance, we're maintaining our weight. We're maintaining. And you're still becoming more fit. You're still becoming super strong. And you're still tightening up. That is true maintenance. And it's an amazing place to be. That's normally where all of our selves and our clients live, because we're extremely comfortable. We're building muscle at a really sustainable rate. We feel tight. Our clothes fit great. And life is pretty easy. You can eat a lot of calories in maintenance, right? Some women's maintenance are 3,500 calories. Other women, it's 2,200 calories, right? Depends on the woman. Okay, any questions? Let me see what else I have. I think that's really mainly the most I have. I know that's kind of a lot of information. Yeah, cool. Last thing I'll say. In a reverse diet, when done correctly and with compliance, you can't gain fat because you're in a deficit until you hit maintenance, right? But if you're not compliant, think of it as like a 7-day rolling average. Monday through Friday or Sunday through Thursday, you're crushing it. Perfect compliance. And then on the weekend, you have a few extra drinks, or you have a few extra snacks, or a few bites, licks, tastes, untracked. You're going out to eat, and it goes up. And you're like, well, I should still be getting amazing results because I was 5 days compliant and then I was only 2 days off. For some women, heck yeah, you will get amazing results at 5 days compliant. But for other women, depending on how much you're going over, it's making your 7-day average a surplus. Unfortunately, you're gaining weight. And it's like, I'm putting in so much work. It's like you are, but those 2 days are kind of demolishing it. And that sucks, right? So what we have women do instead is we teach them to work in play food. Go out to eat, have your wine, have your dessert, have your whatever. Enjoy those things. That's part of life. Enjoy those things. But work them into your macros. And you might be like, I don't have any room. Okay, the first question I'd ask is, how much are you trying to work into your macros? We have to modify portion sizes because that's how we take care of ourselves, right? That's really how we take care of ourselves. Our eyes are much hungrier than our stomach. Mine too. The other thing though, if you're really struggling with the weekends, you can do something called a 5-2 split. This is a really effective method. So for 5 days, you have lower macros. For 2 days, you have higher macros, but the 7-day rolling average is the same, whether you had flatlined macros, which is 7 days of the same macros, or if you took a little bit from the 5 days and you put it on the weekend, right? So you have more space to play on the weekend, but your 7-day rolling average is the macros that are going to get you to your goal. Okay, let me know if you have questions on that. Super effective method. Just make sure that you still have good food quality, right? We don't want to like just eat like crap on the weekend. We still got to take care of ourselves, right? It's not just hitting goals. It's like really learning how to take care of ourselves so we can be a leader to our children, a leader to our spouse, a leader to those around us. It's not just about us, right? Everyone's watching. And I'm thinking of my son. They're watching, right? Really quick story, and then I'll jump off. Yesterday, I love to ride my longboard. It's challenging for me, and so it's good, right? My son rides his bike, and we take our 4-month-old puppy. She's like on the leash, like usually on the leash, like just running next to us. It's great exercise for all three of us. And I had this lady and her husband, and she looks at me, she goes, "Wow, you're really making things difficult for you, aren't you?" I said, "No, ma'am, I'm not. I'm actually teaching my kid the joy of challenge and how to be resilient." And I'm just like smiling and looking at her, and it was like, oh, what the heck? It's like, an easy life is not a life worth living. Sure, I could teach my son how to take the easy route. That's doing him no justice. That's doing him no justice. And in fact, that's harming him. It's harming his success. It's limiting his mind. It's not creating strength, right? So when we do hard things, when we're like, I'm so busy, I don't even know how to handle this. It's okay. One baby step at a time. If all you can do is add a vegetable to your breakfast, amazing, because that's going to compound over time, and that's a good thing. But if you're like, I can't do all of it, so I feel like I can't do any of it, that's not good, because 5% is better than 0%, right? 51% will push you in the direction you want to go. More than 49% will pull you back. You're still going forward. That 1% still got you forward, right? Let's say you nail down that habit of, dude, I got a vegetable for breakfast. This is amazing. Did you know that not only does that habit compound, but your body naturally then starts craving healthier food? But the opposite is true. If you have a donut, cereal, Starbucks, right? Guilty, whatever, crappy food in the morning, your body craves that worse food throughout the day, right? But just talking habits, you got your vegetable in. Amazing. You've nailed that habit. Okay. What about a vegetable for lunch too? Over time, bam, nailed it. What about a vegetable for dinner too? Bam, nailed it. Okay, what about just tracking your protein? Oh my gosh, I got it. Amazing. How about adding in your fat? Do you see what I'm saying? Baby, tiny, minor steps that feel like they don't matter, they do. They do. So don't be afraid if you're like, I just need to take one sip of water. Amazing. It doesn't matter how small it is. It doesn't matter how small the habit is. One habit at a time. Okay? Don't eat the whole elephant. It's not realistic and will always fail because perfection is not realistic. Okay. All right, ladies. I hope that was super valuable for you. I hope that made reverse dieting make more sense so you know what to look for. And I hope it gave you peace about that stupid scale going up, because that thing is hard on us mentally. I get it. It's still hard on me mentally. After 15 years as a trainer, I still have to put it away sometimes, even though I know. But it's because I'm too close to the results. It's my own body. That's why at Queens of Iron, we all train each other, right? Because it's nice having an objective view than just your own when you're in your feels and about to start your period and you just want to cry and eat everything. All right, ladies, have an amazing day. Thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you later. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you.